Hi folks, Martin here. A quick video to show you how to make sure that all of the projects on your Wolfmix W1 or your ADJ WMX1 are backed up to your computer and also to your likecloud account. We've heard some slightly scary stories recently where people have upgraded the firmware on their Wolfmix or WMX1 devices and lost projects. The way to avoid that is always to have a backup of the projects on your device. So I'm going to show you how to check that and then make a backup if you haven't already got one. So first things first, I have loaded up WTools, as you can see on the left of the screen, and on the camera view you can see my W1. I'm going to just open the projects on the W1, so I'm going to tap the little cog icon top right, select projects, go to open, and you can see that I've got, if I turn the leftmost encoder, you can see I've got 6 projects on here numbered from 1 to 6. And if you check the screen in WTools on the left hand side, you'll also see that I have got all 6 projects. So at some point in the past I've backed them up. So that's pretty good news. I'm also now just going to check that I've got all of those projects in my likecloud account. So I'm just going to go and hop over to my web browser. I'm going to sign into likecloud. I'm sure you know how to do this. Go to cloud.nicolaudagroup.com, sign in with your likecloud account, and then click the files icon on the right hand side of the screen here, and you will see the projects that have synced to my likecloud account. Now there's only 5 here. One of them is missing. Now I've done that deliberately because I've deleted it on within the my likecloud account. So I'm going to show you how you can force a backup from your Wolfmix. Check that it's been stored on your computer and then ultimately synced to your likecloud account. So back to WTools. If I were to go into WTools now and just hit the backup button, unfortunately you can't see my mouse pointer, but if I hover my mouse pointer over backup, it shows me a kind of a little no entry sign, suggesting that there's nothing for me to back up. And that's because all of the projects on my W1 are also technically on my laptop. The way to force a backup from your Wolfmix to your laptop is essentially to open a project and make a change to it and save it. Or in fact, you don't even have to make a change, you can just save it. So I'm going to open my garden party. That's the one that was missing from my likecloud account. So I'm going to open this. I'm going to select number 4, tap open, and then wait for that project to open, and I'm literally just going to save it again. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to projects, go to save, hit the save button at the top. I'm not going to change the name, I'm going to save it with the same name, wait for it to say it's completed, and then we're done. So I've forced my project to save, and I suggest that you do that every time you make changes to the projects on your controller, because if you don't, they're kind of stored in a kind of a temporary storage space. They will be there when you switch it off and back on again, but it is really important that you proactively save those projects. So if I now come back to WTools, you'll notice on screen you may still not be able to click the backup button. So the way to resolve that is to go to the WTools menu at the top, go to controllers, select refresh. That will refresh your the list of projects, and now when I hover over backup, it will allow me to back up because WTools now recognizes that a project on the W1 controller itself has changed, and therefore it needs to be backed up. So if I click back up now, you'll notice you'll probably get an alert that says in this case, project conflict garden party, and that's basically telling me that there is already a project called Garden Party stored on my computer. Do I want to overwrite it? And I'm going to say yes, I do, because it's a more up-to-date version. You'll see a quick backup taking place of that particular project. Again, WTools knows that just that one particular project has changed. When it's finished, you'll see that it is now listed on screen on the left in the computer section. But most importantly, I'm going to hop back into my browser, go to my likecloud account, and I'm going to make sure that if I refresh this screen now, so I'm going to just go to my regular browser, refresh. In fact, there is a refresh button at the top, and if I click this, you'll now notice that my project number 6, Garden Party, has appeared on the right hand side. It's got the date and time that project was saved on the W1 controller itself. So you can see it's Wednesday, 15th of March, 1621, which is exactly the time that I saved it. So that's how you make sure that you have saved projects on your W1 controller itself. You then back them up to your laptop, and you can log into your likecloud account and ensure that the projects are also replicated there. So you don't even have to worry about having them on your laptop. They're saved in your likecloud account as well. That little process is really important. Please don't try and skip one of them, because at some point you may run into issues when you then attempt to update the firmware on your controller, which is what I'm going to do next. So I'm now confident that I've got backups of all of my projects on my controller. So I'm going to go back to WTools, and I am going to update the firmware. Let's do it live on the video, see what happens. So I'm going to click the update firmware button at the top. I want to install the W1 version 0.75 official release. So I'm going to download this from the Wolfmix or Nickelodeon site. It says, I get a little pop-up that says you're about to upgrade your controller. Are you sure your current project is saved? This is reminding you to save your current project if you haven't done that. I have just saved them, so I know that's been done. I'm going to click confirm. You will see, hopefully on screen, that the updating firmware, step 1 of 2, is in progress. It says writing data. It's currently got to about 41% on the screen of the controller, which is really blurry. I'm not quite sure why it's so blurry. That's not ideal, is it? And then we'll just wait for this to complete. The numbers are now speeding past on the actual WTools. Right. The Wolfmix W1 is going to restart, which it has. And the WTools is also restarted as well, which is cool. All of my projects are still there. So my Wolfmix W1 is now restarted. I'm going to be able to go back, load a project, hit open. All of my projects are still there because, as I said, I've made sure that I've saved them all and backed them up. So if I want to go back to my garden party, I can now open this, and everything is as I left it. Okay, I can go and open another project just to prove that they are all there. So I typically use one called full setup. Let's tap open. This is going to open my full setup. With all of the presets that I have saved. So it's got all of my presets listed on there. It's got all of the kind of color effects and all of the hopefully live edits. I don't use too many in this particular project, but yep, they're all there. So all good. Everything as it was. The project, as I said, has been saved. Nothing has been lost. So really important. Make sure that you've saved a project on your W1. Make sure you've been through the backup routine using WTools. Check that those projects are saved into your likecloud account, and then and only then should you go and update the firmware on your Wolfmix itself. Because as you saw, when it restarts, you then have to load a project, and if you've got nothing left, you may wonder. If you've not backed them up, you may wonder where they all are. Hope that helps. If you've got any questions, there are plenty of Facebook groups you can also that you can join and ask, but there are also pop comments in below the video itself. That's it from me. Until next time, thank you very much.